I worked on the first album cover, but we did it as a group at the factory. Andy, Paul, Gerard, I mean, you know, we all contributed different images and what have you. And if you look on the credits on the Velvet Underground and Nico album, I'm listed as Billy Linick, which is who I was in the avant-garde art world before I became Billy Name of factory fame. And the second album, White Light, White Heat, after the disaster with the first album of Eric Emerson suing the record company, so they pulled it from the market because it was actually starting to climb up the Billboard charts, you know. And then Eric said he was going to sue because he was one of the images on the back of the album. And I don't know, he was in some tough spot or situation, and he asked Andy for money, which everybody always did all the time, and Andy always said no. And because cash flow was really tight then, there wasn't really that much cash flow. And so Eric brought a lawsuit. MGM Verve pulled the album from the market and didn't promote it anymore. So naturally, it's not going to get played anymore. So, you know, they could have been as big as the Mothers of Invention or Mamas and Papas, you know, that type of thing. It could have just gone and been great because it was great stuff, great music. The Banana album is charming besides being crazy with the Nico songs and Pale Blue Eyes, you know, Mo Tucker singing. It's so sweet. It has the sweetest songs and crazy songs. But there was that screwed up thing that happened that killed its progress. So the second album, White Light, White Heat, didn't have something to ride on, and it was like new all over in the promotion thing, you know. The cover, which is a black on black of a skull and crossbones tattoo. If you look on the album cover in the lower right-hand corner, there's black skull and crossbones on a shiny black background. That came about because when they were going to do the second album, Lou came to me and said, Billy, I want you to do the cover for the second album, for the next album, because the first one was a group activity, but he wanted me to do it exclusively because we were really, you know, guys who grew up together. We had that type of relationship and rapport, and so I was the photographer, I would be the one Lou would want to do it, you know, nobody else would be able to do it, blah, blah, blah. And that's just how we related at the time. So I said, Lou, you know, rather than me trying to come up with a design image, why don't I let you look through all my negative file and you select something, and we'll use that for the cover image. So what he selected was an image from one of Warhol's movies called I, A Man. No, it wasn't I, A Man, it was Bike Boy, with this stud hustler that we I don't know if we picked him up in Times Square or where we got him. His name was Joe Spencer. He was a neat guy. But anyway, he had that tattoo on his upper bicep forearm. And Lou spotted it in one of the frames from one of the films, from one of the stills I had made on his arm. He was like standing in a doorway with his co-star, and Lou brought this negative strip to me and he says, I want that for the album cover. And I said, you mean this picture? He said, no, the tattoo on the guy's arm, which in a 35 millimeter black and white frame is like this teeny little thing, you know? And so I really had to like enlarge it enormously, so it got totally grainy, but it was cool, you know, it was funky looking like that. So we used that, and I said, well, let's do it in black on black, you know, and it became that great famous album cover, which some of the CD reproductions have the tattoo and some don't, you know. They haven't always followed through. Maybe they didn't see it or didn't know it was there at the record company, you know, successive generations. But I think the most recent one does have it there. And I have credit for the photography.